Hey everyone, welcome back to the Book Cave with me, Jenny. So today I have a mid-year check-in tag. I'm not sure who originally posted this, but I have seen several booktubers that I watch do this, so I decided to do it as well. If I can find out who the original creator was, I will link them down below. But yeah, I'm just going to jump right into these questions. So question number 1 is, what was the best book you have read so far in 2026? And I'm going to say that is The Electric State. If you've watched my wrap-ups, I absolutely loved everything that Simon Stalig, I think is how you pronounce his last name, I'm not entirely sure. Um, I loved all of his work. I felt like The Electric State was the best out of all of them, and I just loved the surreal paintings. And this one in particular had a lot more of the story told through these paintings. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved Tales from the Loop, Things from the Flood, and then The Labyrinth was okay. That was one that was definitely a little bit darker, and while I did enjoy it, I felt like that one kind of left a lot more up for interpretation, which I do like, but I also felt like it didn't have as good of world building. So yeah, but The Electric State has been my favorite book so far this year. On the opposite side, we have the worst book of 2026. And I'm going to say that is Vinegar Girl, which is an audiobook that I listened to. It is a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew, and I did like parts of it, but I just felt like the character progression in that story just absolutely killed it for me. And I did feel like the main character, she was just too much of a pushover, and I just really did not enjoy that book at all. My best sequel of this year was Burning Crowns, which is the final book in the Twin Crowns series. I just feel like this series got better with each and every book. We started out with Rose and Ren, who are twin sisters, and they are both to basically be queen of this country. And yeah, I really loved the journey we go through. Like, we started out with them being pretty young acting. They're 18, and I believe the whole trilogy takes place over like maybe a year and a half, but they have a lot of growth, and I just felt like Burning Crowns really brought that growth full circle, and I loved the relationship they have, and the fact that we got so much time with them together in this book. On the opposite side of the coin again is the worst sequel I've read, and that would have to by far be Monster Blood is Back in the Goosebumps Slappy world. And I will be honest, like, this is obviously a middle slash elementary grade book, so I don't expect great everything from that. However, what made this my absolute least favorite Monster Blood is the trope at the end. That is my least favorite trope in any book and any movie, and I will deduct multiple stars off of anything if it uses that trope as the ending. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I really like Monster Blood, as like a villain, I suppose you would say, in the series. But yeah, this one was just not it for me at all. Question number 5 is, what are some releases from the first half of the year that you want to read and haven't gotten to? So right now I have 3. I actually only own 1 though. The 2 that I don't own are Daughters of the Sun and Moon, which is by Lisa C. And she is one of basically 5 autobi authors. She writes mostly literary slash historical fiction that focuses on female friendships and relationships between, sisters and mothers and daughters, mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws. And I absolutely love her writing. I have loved every single book of hers I've read, and this is her newest one. Then the other one is All Hail Chaos, and this is the sequel to Long Live Evil. And I do really want to finish Long Live Evil this year as well. I am working on a video for that because it was giving me 5-star feels. I read 100 pages like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and got distracted by other books and haven't picked it back up. So, yeah, that's nothing about the book. That's just something that happened with me, and I've continued to be distracted. Hopefully, this new one being out, it came out in May, will get me to hurry up and pick that back up. I do think I'm just going to scrap the video and restart the book and the video then. And then the final book, which I do have and have started, is The Last Contract of Isiko. And this is obviously Fonda Lee's newest release. And it is basically about a corporate samurai on a planet that we are trying to terraform. And yeah, very interesting premise. I have read 64 pages so far, and the world is quite interesting. So, yeah, this is another one that I'm really looking forward to finishing. It is also a standalone, so that is always fun. The next question is, what are my most anticipated releases for this last half of 2026? And I have 3 of them, which are actually all sequels as well. Although, well, the first one kind of isn't. It is a Venom and Vengeance, which is a not really a sequel, but rather a companion to Of the Flame and Fury. So this is set in a world that has 4 different islands. Each island is known for a different thing. One is known for phoenixes, one for sea serpents, one for regular like land serpents, and one for basically fairies. And this particular one of Venom and Vengeance is set on either the sea serpent or the land serpent. I don't remember which, but that comes out in July. Then another one, actually, both of these other 2 also come out in July. Sea of Charms, which is a companion novel to The Spell Shop and The Enchanted Greenhouse. I really liked those books, and I like the way that they're in the same world, but, pardon me, you can honestly read them in any order, and they will all make sense. Then the final one is Adversary to the Villain, which is, of course, book 4 in the Assistant to the Villain quartet. As far as I understand, this is the final one. And after the ending of book 3, I'm very excited to get to this and see where everything goes. The book that was the biggest surprise to me, I actually have two, and that was Blood Over Brighthaven. It was not what I was expecting at all, but it was absolutely amazing. It is another book that I gave 5 stars this year, and yeah, I did a whole spoilery vlog on that, but I absolutely loved that. And then the other one that really surprised me was Coldwire. This is one I was super excited about it when I first heard about it. It's a sci-fi slash cyberpunk, and I was really excited for that. I've never read one of those. I do know what cyberpunk is, and just the whole virtual world sounded really interesting. And then I found out it was YA and was very not excited about it. And then I read it, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and was very pleasantly surprised by that. A book that made me cry this year was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Uh, Anxious People also made me cry. Both of them, like right at the end. The ending was just extremely emotional. And yeah, I don't think I've cried at another Taylor Jenkins Reid book, but almost all Frederick Backman books I do cry at least at the ending. Which, speaking of Frederick Backman, I watched A Man Called Otto, and yeah, I absolutely bawled at that movie. If you liked the book, I recommend the movie, but know that it will make you cry, like, for sure. And then on the opposite side of that, the next question was, what is a book that made you happy? And a book that made me happy this year was Caught Up by Liz Tomforty. And so, as you've seen in some of my wrap ups, the first two books in Windy City, which is Mile High and The Right Move, I didn't 100% like. I didn't despise them, but I felt like they were way too long. Caught Up, I felt like was a better length. I did still get frustrated at the characters, but I honestly didn't get as frustrated with them. And I'm thinking that's just because things weren't quite as drawn out. But I loved seeing Kai and Miller's relationship grow, and just the found family aspect of it. And yeah, all the friendships were just absolutely great. So that was a book that definitely made me happy. My favorite new author that I discovered this year was actually Marie Lu. I read her book Red City back at the very beginning of the year, and just the atmosphere of that, the descriptions of the city, the intricacies of all the characters' relationships to each other was just really good, and the writing flowed so well. Like, I absolutely loved her writing style, and am really excited to see the sequel to Red City. I have no clue when it's coming out. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. The second to last question is, what is the most beautiful book you have acquired this year, be that, gifted or bought? And I have two, one of which I bought, which is Bone of My Bone. And I don't know what it is about this cover, but I just really like it. I really like that crown and like all the detail on it. I'm not a huge fan of these sprayed edges, but I do like that they're not just, a solid color. They're actually like a bone, and, with a little bit of detailing on it. But yeah, this one I really liked, and it sounds really interesting as well. And then one that I was gifted, this was actually one of my dad's birthday presents to me, is The Rain Shadow Orphans. And all I read was something that said it is a, again, cyberpunk. And this cover is just absolutely beautiful. And again, with the sprayed edges, little kitty and the steamed buns. And yeah, so these are my two like most beautiful books I have acquired this year. The final question is, what are some books you need to finish by the end of this year? And if you watched my quarter end, these were ones that I said there that I wanted to get to as well, at least a few of these. There are some new ones, but The Poet Empress, of course, I really, really want to get to this by the end of the year. The Strength of the Few, which is a repeat. I did read about 6 chapters, got distracted. That's been a theme. This is another one I'm just going to restart when I do get to it. This is just such an intricate world that I feel like you have to read it kind of either very much on its own. Like, you're going to get too many other things mixed in with there if you try to read it with something else, unless it's just like the last couple pages. Then Project Hail Mary. I really want to read this before the movie comes out on DVD because I really want to watch the movie. I've been seeing a bunch of YouTube shorts that have bits and pieces of the movie. The movie looks really good. I've actually wanted to read this for a while. Just got it in like December of last year, but definitely want to get to that. The movie is pushing it forward. And of course, The Last Contract of Isiko. I want to finish that. And I'm hoping to get to this very, very soon since, like I said, I already started it. And I really don't want to have to restart yet another book for this. That is everything I have for my mid-year check-in. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and hit like and subscribe and do that little bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video. And feel free to comment. Have you read any of the books that I've talked about in here? If you had, what did you think about them? Spoiler free, please, as obviously some of them I haven't read and want to keep it spoiler free for anybody else kind of perusing the comments. And let me know, what are you excited for that's coming out in the last half of this year? But I hope to see you next time in the book cave.